Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me about how you got involved in Charlotte.
Okay. Well, I went to UNC Charlotte for undergrad, majored in political science there, and I moved away for a few years, go to law school and to work, and I always wanted to end up back in Charlotte. So after law school, I moved back to Charlotte, got a job with a law firm here in the city, and from there I started going back to some of my old connections that I had when I was in school, getting involved with some different organizations I was passionate about. I got involved with the Urban League, got involved with the Black Alumni Chapter at UNC Charlotte, and got involved with some political groups as well, and just kind of grew out from there and found my niche and things that, the trial and error, finding out things that I liked doing. I wanted to be active, I wanted to be involved in things, but just finding out where I can best use my skills um, and where I can make the most impact there.
Okay. Where did you go to law school at?
I went to Campbell.
Campbell. Okay, it's like in the Raleigh area.
It is. It's in Raleigh.
Nice. Are you from the Charlotte area originally?
No, I'm originally from Fayetteville.
Got it, got it. So you're originally from Fayetteville, went to UNC Charlotte for undergrad. And then my last question, what brought you back to Charlotte?
Um, I like this. I like the city. When I was here for college, the city was really growing. Just right when the city was kind of the epicenter was brand new. South End was growing. The light rail had just opened, and all that was starting to happen when I was graduating.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up in Fayetteville, was kind of a smaller town, and I traveled to some other cities. Lived in Raleigh for a while. Had a lot of friends that traveled in Atlanta and other cities like that, and I felt like Charlotte was kind of the best sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a huge city, it's not a sprawling city, it's not a small city either, and it's kind of the same reason why I decided to go to UNC Charlotte was it was a newer university that was growing, and I had a real good opportunity to really get involved and make an impact. And I saw the same thing with the city of Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of opportunity for somebody young to come in and do a lot of things you can't do in kind of a more old school type city.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the big things I really liked about Charlotte.
Got it. So what is your why? What is your motivator and your driver behind being involved? And is there any one issue that you like to advocate for?
So I guess my biggest why, it comes from my family.
Mm-hmm.
When I grew up in Fayetteville, both my parents are public school educators, so were teachers and principals, and I really saw them, and they kind of instilled in me from a young age that when you've been blessed, when you've been given a lot, you really need to pour that back into somebody else and to pour that back into other people. Because I saw them, when they're out spending money, spending time to give to their students, their classrooms, and things like that that could have been used other places, but seeing that impact that it makes for other people, that really had an impact on me. So that was kind of my biggest driver, is trying to find ways to give of myself, because I've got a good job, I've got flexibility to go out and do things in the community and to take part in different things. So really trying to learn what different perspectives are. So my biggest thing is trying to be a bridge and a connector.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can really speak to people of all statuses, all races, and try to really connect them with the people they need to have for, I'm not a jack of all trades, but I guarantee I know somebody who can help somebody in a certain situation, and really just build those connections and build those bridges. Because, going back to my other answer, Charlotte is a big little city,
mm-hmm.
and there's a way to make a lot of these things happen if you just put the work into it.
That's true. Are you involved with your neighborhood group? I've seen that you do some work with the Camp Green neighborhood.
I do, yeah. So I live over in the Camp Green area, and I've been very involved with the Camp Green Neighborhood Association. I've been doing stream cleanups, stream cleanups, street cleanups, and this year I was the chair and organizer of the National Night Out for the first time in about 5 or 6 years they've done it. So we were able to kind of lead that group to organize that, and that was really good.
Now, Camp Green is definitely going through some changes, and it's a historic part of the community. I know a little bit about the background of Camp Green, and watching it change in the way that it is. How have y'all been able to keep that balance, or is it a balance in your eyes, between preserving your history and then welcoming new residents?
Yeah, I think you hit head with the balance part of it. I think that the one thing that I've been passionate about, that I've tried to do and work with the neighborhood association on, and the neighborhood association is big on it, is education. We had a kind of a past few months, there's been a real estate developer who's coming in and just mailing letters to everybody that lives in the neighborhood saying they'll buy your house for essentially pennies on the dollar, $75,000, $800,000, $80,000, excuse me. And then it looks like an official legal document, and people sign it. They come in, they'll buy their house for them for $80,000, $75,000 less, whatever taxes they owe, and they'll bulldoze those houses, and they'll put two $400,000 houses up on those lots, which is a problem, because when you're, to a lot of people, getting $70,000 in cash is a big thing. It's a lot of money, more money than they ever had. But if you're looking at the landscape in Charlotte right now, you can't go anywhere in Charlotte for that $70,000 you got in your pocket now.
That's true.
And it also adds on extra benefits, because if you're living in the west side and now you're having to move out to cheaper homes in the east side, you're having to make up that expense in daycare costs. You're having to make up that expense in transportation costs. So it's a big issue. But the one thing that the neighborhood has been doing that I do like, outside of the the negative of people being pushed out, is that when new people are moving to the neighborhood and people are moving into these newer homes, the neighborhood is very welcoming of them and trying to make sure that they come to the neighborhood association meetings, they understand the history of this neighborhood, and they get to know people, because there can be issues when you're buying your first home, and I get it. I'm a homeowner, and you buy your first home, and you see a neighborhood that's not exactly what your ideal neighborhood is, but we really do a good job of making sure people understand, this is a historic neighborhood. These are good people that live here, and working on that balance and blend of getting people to kind of two separate neighborhoods to merge and blend together. Yeah,
no. That's been a big topic for my work, too, because, I work with Mecklenburg County, and we actually have a facility over here off of Freedom Drive. And so once you get home this afternoon, this is where the outages have been, so just FYI. And of course, you're familiar with whenever we get rain over here, one power line goes down and everything goes out, so...
Right.
But yeah, honestly, that's just what comes with living in an older part of the city. And there's a lot of benefits of living over here too. I mean, great views of the skyline, and just you're surrounded by a lot more character. But anywho, so that question sort of is going to lead into my next question of, tell me about the committees that you're involved with. I'm talking council appointed, boards or committees, and then after that, tell me what advice you would give to someone who's looking to join.
Yeah, so right now I'm on the Zoning Board of Adjustment Committee. We meet once a month, and essentially we decide, we're a quasi-judicial board. So any of our decisions can be appealed to the Superior Court here in Mecklenburg County. So we handle any variances that people want to have for their properties, and we also hear any appeals from the Historic District of Permission. So one of the biggest things that I enjoy about that is you kind of get a sense of where the city is kind of going based on the variances that people are requesting, making sure, properties changing from one type of zoning to another, people wanting to add on to their homes. You can kind of tell, the direction of these different communities by the variances that you get in front of you. Even with simple things like changing, we've had a couple where we've had people coming in to change billboards and get a variance for that, the type of billboard and structure they want to have based on the way the neighborhood around them is growing. So that's a really good way, because going back to our earlier conversation, there's a lot of change in Charlotte right now. And, the land is the most valuable commodity. So having a part in that is really big for me. But getting involved with that, it was something I wanted to do for a while. I wanted to get on the board, try to learn more about the city, get more active, hands-on touch to it. And the advice that I would have for people getting involved, they are appointed positions, either by the county or the mayor has some, and then the city council has some. But I would recommend that you need to know the representative for your district, because the council has a vote on them. And if they see you in an application stack of, the applications aren't super thorough, but they do give a lot of background on the person. But if they see you in a stack of 50 people, depending on the board you're applying for, they need to have some type of reason why they're going to choose you over anybody else.
That's huge. I think that needs to be put in bold and highlighted, because that is so important. You've got to lobby for yourself. And right. Because they want to make sure that you're the right person, and they want to make sure that these boards are representative and fair. So that's right. Really good. And I'm wondering, how often does that board meet?
So we meet once a month, usually the last Tuesday of the month, and the meetings range usually from anywhere to from 9. If we have a light load, we'll be able to get out of there by 1 o'clock. If we have a larger caseload, we've been there, all day until 5 or so, just depending on the amount of appeals and hearings that we have.
So this is just kind of a personal question. Do y'all have like a brochure or some type of FAQ for zoning? Because I deal with community members who maybe they'll receive a letter in the mail, with a zoning letter, and not know what those symbols mean or what these words mean. Is there like a glossary or something?
So there's the code, which is what we use, but I'm not sure if there's like a kind of a like a quick little tutorial or manual or not. I can look into that for you and let you know. If there's not, I think that could be something that would be beneficial to be put together, because even because the zoning code is, when I first got appointed, they give you that huge stack that's like 3 inches thick.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know what? Just kind of an aside, that would be great if you can look into that for Amplify, because that's exactly the type of thing that I'm looking to do. Take that information, translate it, simplify it, and then put it out there for the people. So that's really what I'm looking to do. So thank you for that advice. And just telling me about your experience. Honestly, I don't really have any other questions. You told me how you got involved. You told me your why. You talked to me about Camp Green a bit, and your board experience. I'm sorry. Were you involved in other boards other than the Board of Adjustment?
No, that's the only city-appointed board that I'm part of.
Got it. Do you also volunteer for different agencies?
So, right now I'm the chair of the John S. Leary Association of Black Attorneys, where we do a lot of advocacy work, people in the community, from the legal side of things. So I do that, and then I also volunteer with the Harvest Center over off of Freedom Drive, and do some work with, try to go every month or every other month to do some work with a hashtag Lunchback Charlotte as well.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a big one. Okay, so I think I've got enough information here for a short blog post, and I'll probably edit this recording as well and make it available, and I'll send it to you before I make it public. But yeah, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think it's great. I think the work that Amplify is doing is really needed, because I think we need to engage younger people here in Charlotte more. You were at the BPC Civics 101 program, Civics and Leadership program they had last weekend, and I think those programs are great, but it's kind of disheartening when you go to these different meetings, political events, forums, and the average age is 65, 70.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
man.
and I thought there were like people my age and your age. I'm surprised to see that many people, our age there.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, and then I don't know if you noticed it, because I noticed it on Saturday in that packet. They had the percentage of voters over the age of 65 here in Mecklenburg County is only 10%, which is insane when you consider how much they. Yeah.
Yeah. So the percentage of voters over 65 is 10%. Is that recent data?
That's
recent.
It was. Yeah, if you go back and look at the packet from this weekend, it's in there, the county government side.
Oh, I have. Okay, yeah, no, I have that. That packet was awesome that they put together. I saw something online recently. I think it was from the Board of Elections website that I pulled, and it just had like the breakdown of the different voter stats. And African Americans were the largest group of African American voters in North Carolina are right here in Mecklenburg County. We obviously we're a blue county, which a lot of folks already knew, but it's just really cool to see it broken down like that. I'm trying to see if I can find it on my phone, but I can't find it. But no, I'll go back and take a look in the packet from Saturday. It's a lot of good stuff in there. But I think you're right, and I was talking to one of my mentors about Amplify, and they were saying, Christine, this would be awesome for young people, because right now nobody's focused on funding programs or investing, and it's really weird. It's kind of backwards actually, in programs for young people, because everybody's concerned about economic mobility, and a lot of people think that's poverty, that's affordable housing. No, that's education. That's making investments in education, because economic mobility is about investing in the future.
I think that's a big issue that Charlotte has too, and it's an issue everywhere. But we tend to put everything into buckets. So everybody's talking about affordable housing now. So we take a bucket, we put affordable housing in the bottom of that bucket, and then we just throw as much money as we can into that bucket. But we don't. And then we say, we need to work about upward mobility, and we put that in the bucket and throw as much money as we can into that bucket. But the real issue is all these things are interconnected, and we're not. And when we silo them, we're throwing good money after bad, because we're not really thinking about how all these issues are interconnected. Because upward mobility directly ties into affordable housing. Education directly ties into education. I mean, education ties into upward mobility. Same thing with transportation. All these issues are interconnected, but we keep segmenting them off. So it's we keep trying to put a piece of duct tape on a problem instead of actually going in and fixing the problem.
Yeah. No, I agree. We definitely have some things to work on, and it comes down to doing the work. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna work on this interview, and I will let you know when it will be published.
All right, sounds good. Thank you much.
All right, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you again soon.
All right, have a good one.
All right, bye.